Hey everybody, welcome back to Booze and News with Jonathan Fleischner and
And now, by De Leon,
Albert. And it's Albert's Corner, baby. What are we talking about today, man?
Utah is doing the unthinkable.
That's right.
Trying to.
The unimaginable. Trying to
The insanity of Utah right now.
well, let's just say the impossible.
They think talk about the impossible burger. I got another impossible state over here.
So Utah, for people who don't know, they're trying to ban pornography. They've passed legislation in the state to ban pornography off of cell phones and tablets, right?
Yeah.
And this is no new kind of phenomenon. There's a senator there in Utah and a whole kind of movement going on against pornography. A real war on pornography coming out of Utah. And Utah is one of the most conservative states in the nation, right?
Yeah, and I do think there's definitely a lot of negative things that come from it, that come from porn. But it's one of those things that I just don't think you should be fucking with.
Well, that's interesting to get into. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. That's a good idea. That's an interesting discussion. But so basically, the history of this is there's been a senator there who pushed for restrictions on porn, like about 5 years ago. And it's just been kind of ramping up to where now they're having this ban or whatever, this restriction where any cell phone or tablet cannot have pornography on it. But here's the interesting thing, Albert. What about laptops? What about
Looks like they fucked up.
What about computers? So
wait,
are you?
Wait a minute. So you're telling me this law doesn't include that shit either? It just has the.
Doesn't include any of that.
Well, that's this is a bunch of stupid. They didn't even write it up right.
It's pretty dumb. Also, there's a clause in there that says that it can't pass unless 5 other states adopt this anti-porn law. Which I don't know who's gonna do it. What maybe definitely not Florida. They love their porn in Florida. What state, Albert? What other state other than Utah? The only reason Utah passed is because they're a bunch of Mormons. Let's not bullshit around the bush here. They are the Church of Latter-day Saints, the Mormon Church, is why they passed this shit. And they run Utah. You know what I mean? They fucking run that city, Salt Lake City and all that. And they run that state. And they're the only motherfuckers who hate porn like this.
I don't. Yeah, to me, this is such a bizarre. It's almost as bizarre as was it Oklahoma or Arkansas that banned recording police?
Oh no, I think you're thinking about. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. There was recently legislation that passed about insulting police. That was Kentucky. But as far
I thought it.
But as
I thought there was a ban on recording.
There could be, and I may just not be aware of it. You know what I mean? There could be. But I heard of a story about insulting police. But we're just getting on a tangent. But what were you trying to say? Because the thing is that when you go into Utah and you start looking at this shit, it is a bunch of Mormons and Latter-day Saints people who are the ones advocating for this because when they go to church, right, the preacher or whatever the fuck he's called, the Mormon Jesus dude, is sitting around telling people that porn is evil and and they all believe this.
Right.
And yet, what's interesting, there's a really good documentary I watched on Vice called, and this is from several years ago, called the War on Porn, the Mormon War on Porn. And it goes into this and how the church basically tells them that they're supposed to be ashamed of masturbation and sex and all this stuff, right? But what's interesting, Albert, and I wanted to kind of get into debate about this today, is I believe personally that shame, right, it only makes you more, that shame cannot be fixed by banning porn and making you feel more shameful for wanting to have sex and masturbate. The only way you can fix such things like that is by having a culture that talks about sex, that has an education, right? There were parents educate their children and schools educate children, right, about sex to where they understand it. You can't just ban porn because, dude, they're gonna find other ways around it. Like, first of all, like we talked about, this only affects cell phones and tablets. So if and they're saying, well, this is to keep kids from watching porn. Well, why wouldn't the kid just get a laptop?
Gonna have a lot of motherfuckers out there stealing laptops. Bunch of kids.
I mean, but when I was a kid, Albert, here's a crazy story. When I was a kid, I mean, I was still 16 years old or whatever. I had a car. I was driving around. But I paid a homeless man, right, to buy me pornography, cigarettes, and alcohol. And I was 16.
Now, in exchange, did you have to, now correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure I know how this goes. Did you have to jerk off this homeless man?
I did not. No, I didn't have to do that. I didn't do that.
Good for you.
Yeah. No, but what happened was I picked him up on the side of the road, and I knew this motherfucker wanted some money, right? And I'm 16. I have no business picking up homeless folks. I don't know. He could murder me, you know what I mean, if I wanted to. And I'm just like, I have an easy transaction for you, buddy. Do you want $25? Because that sounds like a good amount of money. All you got to do is, I'll take you over to this gas station over here. You're going to buy me a bunch of porn, and you're going to buy me some booze and some cigarettes, and we'll call it a day. And that's the way that shit used to get done before the internet and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, back in the old days, you had to pick up homeless men and risk your life.
Do they want to go back to that? Because that shit sounds hella dangerous.
It sounds way more dangerous because you know what normally happens in that circumstance is that when you're done, the homeless man goes, okay, I got you your porn. Now, will you please
who's jacking me off?
Give me a blowjob.
Who's jacking me off?
And now he's going to be like, now, wait a minute. We're in this together now, right? You're going to jerk me off, and I'm going to jerk you off, right?
No, but what's funny, Albert, is that I did that a couple of times in high school, and every time the homeless folk, and I'm not trying to make fun of homeless people. I was just, using them. I really was using them. But they would always act like there was a bond between us now. After it was over, you know what I mean? He's like, all right, he's like, you little fuckers, I got you the porn and the booze. Now, hey, any of y'all want to come over here and smoke some crack with me? And we're like, no, we're not going to go do that. We're absolutely not going to go smoke crack with you.
What we will go do is go jerk off in our car.
No, none of that. We're just going to go drop you off. We're going to drop you off, and we're actually probably never going to talk to you again. We just used you. But that's, My point is that this is a losing battle because even when porn wasn't on phones and it was illegal or whatever, or your kids couldn't have it, I found a way to get a fucking homeless man to buy me porn and booze and cigarettes.
And you could have easily been, by the way, that story about him asking y'all to go smoke crack with him around the corner. You could have easily been some kids that were like, you know what, we've been thinking about smoking crack for the past month. This is our chance. Let's take them up on that. And how bad
are kids? We could have sat there and go, hey, let's kill this guy. Let's kill this guy and take his crack.
No, I'll tell you how fucked up kids are nowadays. You're talking about you would have killed the homeless man, skinned him alive, put the skin over your face, walk in that store and be like, hey, I'm just an old homeless man trying to buy some porn. You would have been arrested.
Right.
And it would have been.
And you're like, I just don't want to pay that $25 to the homeless man. Yeah.
And we wonder why we get censored so much on this program.
Yeah. I mean, how could we get censored talking about wholesome things like this? But the whole goddamn thing about this is stupid, Albert. The whole idea that you could ban porn, because also think about this. Do you know what a VPN is?
No.
So, do you know that you can change, like, basically the address of your phone or your computer or whatever on the internet to where you can lie about where you're at, right?
Oh, right.
A virtual private network, right?
Right.
But basically, you could just say you're here or whatever. So, Utah could put this in place, right, to where anything that says, oh, look, we're in Utah when you get on the phone, I'll just block the porn from Utah, right? Well, You could just have a VPN and then say, oh, well, I'm from Texas or whatever, and then you can still watch the porn while you're in Utah. There's no way to do it.
There isn't. Talking about the most viewed thing on the internet, and you're gonna try to get people not to look at it. You're fucking crazy.
It's crazy. Now, I will agree with some points of this. I do think that porn is a crazy rabbit hole, and I do think think that people obsess over it way too much.
And I do think that it's very bad for a young person to view it. That's been proven. And so,
I don't think it's any worse for anyone to view it, Albert. I think that it's worse that as a society we don't discuss it.
Well, that's different. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about being 5.
Well, if you're 5 or whatever, for sure. If you're 5, yeah, of course. I'm talking about, if you're fucking, in high school or whatever. Yeah, you're gonna watch porn. I was in high school. I was like trying to steal porno mags and shit, get homeless people to buy them for me, right? And people want to act like that isn't real. Like high school kids don't want to fucking do stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's just not reality. It's not reality. How funny it
is to me to imagine you like recruiting an army of homeless men to get you porn. Like that is such a funny visual for me. Like you recruit him like it's the army. Hey, you should join my team.
But it was anything, Albert. Booze, cigarettes. I wanted to smoke. You know what I mean? But I couldn't. But I realized that I could. If you gave me a cigarette and a match, I could smoke it. The only thing preventing me from smoking it was I couldn't fucking buy it. Right?
And that's where the homeless guy comes into play.
And I'm just saying there's no way to fucking stop this shit. This is a losing battle. You can try to put a porn ban on a phone and some idiot's just going to go buy a fucking laptop. They're not going to stop doing it.
All that's going to happen is some poor kid's going to go pick a homeless guy up. The homeless man's going to jerk him off or make a smoke crack with them. It's going to get worse than it is. It's going to get way worse than it's going to get better.
I don't even know. I don't know how we ever thought this show was going to get monetized. I don't even know where to go from here. Mormons, and I'm gonna close with this, Albert. Everybody should go. There's a website when I was doing research for this called MormonGirls.com. It's fucking amazing. It is straight up Mormon porn, and it uses all of the stuff from the religion, right? Where they make these Mormon girls wear these special. Have you ever heard about the magical underwear and special underwear they have to wear and stuff?
Yeah.
They make them so in the porn they're doing all this religious ceremony, and it's a bunch of like Mormon lesbian chicks, and it's fucking crazy. And yeah, it is very sexual to even look at this ritual that they do, right, and say that it's not pornographic and sexual is a lie. It's just they're so fucked in the head, man. They don't even realize that they're in some weird polygamy cult that has this sex perversion going on in it, right? And yet they want to be mad about internet porn or whatever. Stupid.
Yep. Very, very stupid.
So anyway, go check that website out. It's pretty goddamn hot if you like lesbians and blasphemy. So, talk to y'all next time. This has been Booze and News with Jonathan Fleischner and Albert DeLeon.
John.